right. Hi, I'm so happy to be here. It has been a hot minute since I have done these coffee chats and lives. Life has been really challenging the past couple of months and through the holidays, but I'm back. And for those of you that are kind of joining new, my name is Jen. I'm Jen Hines, and I've been where many of you have found yourselves right now, overwhelmed, constantly trying to please everyone else, putting myself last on my to-do list. And today I really wanted to talk to you about diving into something I'm incredibly passionate about, and the truth about people pleasing, how it's holding you back, and more importantly, how you can start reclaiming your self-worth and strengthening your relationships. So I'm going to start by asking you this. Have you ever found yourself, and I would love for you to comment in the chat wherever you're watching, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, or maybe you're watching the replay on YouTube, but have you ever found yourself saying yes to something you didn't want to, just to avoid upsetting somebody else? So comment in the chat yes, or raise your hand, or wave. Maybe you agreed to take on a task at work when you were already stretched too thin, or maybe you said yes to a favor for a friend even though you were exhausted. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And while it may seem harmless and even noble, people pleasing can really have a bigger impact on your life than you might realize. Angelica says yes. I'm right there with you, Angelica. I've been doing the work for 5 to 6 years with my life coach and as a life coach, but still those people-pleasing tendencies and saying yes, it's still a battle every day. So I want to share a personal story, a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was the textbook definition of a people pleaser. I said yes to everything: extra shifts at work, running errands for friends, hosting family events all the time, even though I was run down and sick. And on the surface, I was really good at putting on this front, I seem like I have it all together, right? I was really good at pretending I had all my SHIT in line, but inside I was really struggling. One day after a particularly really long week, my husband asked me, "Why do you always say yes to everything, even when it's clearly too much for you in the moment?" And his words kind of stopped me. And I realized that I had been so focused on making everyone else happy that I kind of lost sight of my own needs. And worse than that, my constant need to please everybody else was causing tension in my closest relationships. I was resentful, overwhelmed, and running on empty. And that moment really became a turning point for me. So at that point, I really reflected and realized that me saying yes to everybody else was me saying no to the things that are important to me. It was saying no to me being on my priority list. It was saying no to my family, because when I was saying yes to everybody else, I didn't leave anything left for them when I got home, right? So if I said yes to everything at work, to all the extra patients I would take on, all the extra responsibilities, I would come home so tired and burnt out that I would take it out on my family, right? So they were getting the worst of me, not the best of me, and that's not what I wanted at all. So I realized in that moment, with having that discussion with my husband, that saying yes to everybody else was saying no to me and my family and those that were important to me. So I want to talk about kind of some teaching points along the lines of people pleasing, because you might not even realize that you're people pleasing. But people pleasing often stems from a fear of rejection or conflict. You say yes to avoid disappointing other people, but it's usually at the cost of your own well-being. It can also come from tying your self-worth to how much you do for others. So I'm kind of call this you attach your self-worth to your work, the effort that you're putting in, and you do that because you're believing that you are being helpful or nice, right? But the cost is you're tired, you're exhausted, you start to feel resentful, right? I'm not saying to not be kind and helpful when you want to, but when you say yes because you feel like you have to, or you're afraid of upsetting somebody else and then you feel resentful, that's people pleasing, okay? And some of the hidden costs to people pleasing are it can really damage some relationships. Constantly putting others first can lead to resentment on both your part and theirs. People may begin to take your efforts for granted or expect you to always be available. So anybody feel like that? Your friends always come to you because they know that you'll say yes, or your boss always comes to you because they know that you'll say yes. Through people pleasing, you can also lose your sense of self-worth. When you're always saying yes, you're sending yourself that message that your needs don't matter as much as everyone else's. And over time, this can really erode your confidence and your sense of identity. It can also lead to burnout. Overcommitting leaves you drained and unable to really show up fully for the people you care most about. So how do we break free from people pleasing? The first step is just being aware of it, right? Start by recognizing when you're saying yes out of guilt or fear rather than genuine willingness to want to help. Pause before responding and ask yourself, is this something I want or need to do, right? You can also always say, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. And that gives you time to really sit with, do I really want to do this to be helpful? Or is it going to make me feel resentful, right? Learning to set boundaries. Learn to say no with grace. It's not selfish to protect your time and your energy. It's essential, especially if you have others like kids and family members that really rely on you. You want them to have the best of you, not what's left of you when you say yes to everybody else. And setting a boundary can be like, I'm sorry, I don't have time to do that right now, right? Or saying no to a dinner date. Thank you so much for asking me to go out to dinner, but I can't do it tonight. People pleasers are going to want to give a reason why, but you don't have to. No is a complete sentence, and you can say it with kindness, right? And if you don't have the words right away, just use the statement that I just said. Let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. Or if you have a partner, let me check with my partner and see if we already have plans. And that gives you a chance to check in with your feelings, check in with your schedule, and then make a decision. Self-care is the third topic that I want to talk about as far as breaking free from people pleasing. Begin by prioritizing your own needs. It's not selfish. It really is self-preservation. And start small. Maybe it's taking 10 minutes for yourself in the morning and saying no to one thing this week that doesn't serve you. So I hope that was helpful for my people pleasers out there. If today's conversation kind of resonated with you and you're ready to take that first step towards breaking free from people pleasing, I'd love to help you. I offer what I call a personalized life assessment. A personalized life assessment call. And what happens on that call is we'll hop on the phone for 30 to 45 minutes, depending on like how many questions you have and what you're struggling with. We're just going to talk it through, and I'm going to give you some suggestions. I'm going to give you a couple of like 2 or 3 things that you can walk away from on that call that you can implement right away to really help with those struggles. And that might lead to the decision of working with me, or it might not. You might just walk away with 2 or 3 tools or tips that are going to help you. But if you're interested in that call and taking this the next step further, just comment the word call, C-A-L-L, wherever you're watching this video, and I will reach out with a form. And that form is just going to allow you to give me the best 3 to 4 dates and times over the next week where we can schedule a call and connect. So I'm so excited to be back doing my coffee chats. Today's people pleasing really resonated with you. I'd love for you to share some hearts, share this with somebody else that might be a people pleaser, and just reach out with anything else that I can do to help. I hope you guys have an amazing day.